It's trying to connect. Hello.
Hi.
Okay, I just have like 4 questions for you.
Okay.
First, if you could just say your name.
Stephanie Isaacson.
Okay, and what's your profession?
I am a second grade teacher.
Okay. In Missouri, there is no age limit to openly carry a handgun, long gun, or any weapon. At its peak, Missouri is only 5.6 miles from your kid's high school and 5.5 miles from your home. How do you feel that in the 14-minute drive, you could see a 9-year-old legally carrying a gun, a weapon which is responsible for 109 deaths every day in the United States alone?
I don't think it is a smart decision or a good idea by any way, shape, or form. I definitely don't think anyone under the age of 21, even probably 25, should be in ownership of a possession without an adult permission. A child's brain does not develop until they are the age of 25. So definitely to have a hand in the gun of a minor or anyone under the age of 25 is not a good idea. And it's very, very scary.
How do you feel that your 18-year-old son, who is still living under your roof and still attending high school,
Go ahead. Yes.
How do you feel that your 18-year-old son, who is still living under your roof and still attending high school with just over 1,600 other students, could legally drive only 5.5 miles and walk into any given Walmart and legally purchase a rifle, shotgun, or handgun with no permit to purchase and no registration of firearms required?
I do not feel like it is okay or should be a legal action to do that at all. So I think if we were to live in Missouri, or we do live in Kansas, I think I need to write our legislatures and they need to change this law if this is the correct law, because I do not agree with it at all.
The only thing your son needs to buy a gun in Missouri is his state ID or driver's license, which says he is 18. He does not need to go and pass a background check. He does not need to apply for a state permit to buy a deadly weapon. It can take less than 10 minutes to buy a gun at the same store that families are shopping at for dinner. Your son can buy a weapon which takes 109 lives every day from the same store he cannot buy beer from. Your son can legally buy a weapon created for war before he can legally buy a bottle of wine. How does this make you feel?
It makes me feel aggravated and confused and extremely concerned and worried, especially with all of the gun violence as of late and with the school shootings. Um, I'm not up on gun law, but I thought that the gun laws were becoming stronger and stricter and not more lenient and lax. So I definitely do not agree, and it's not okay at all. And my son and my daughter will not be purchasing guns
Now imagine all the
anytime
questions
soon.
Now imagine all the questions I asked you weren't about your son, but instead about any other senior that attends your children's school. That's around 400 people at their school alone that can legally make the 14-minute drive to buy a gun. According to the CDC, at least 1 in 5 teenagers have some type of mental illness. That's 80 people alone at your kid's school that are of the age to legally buy a gun. Among teens throughout the United States, 70% do not receive the care they need for their mental illness. That is 56 boys and girls, all above the age of 18, who can legally buy a weapon created to kill at our school alone. How does it make you feel that statistically there are 56 young adults with mental illnesses that are not being treated at our school alone who can legally drive 15 minutes, walk inside a store with nothing more than their driver's license, and walk out of the same store only 10 minutes later with a gun?
Right. It makes me extremely concerned and sad. It's scary. There is a huge mental health crisis with adults, children, and adolescents. And with the statistics that you just stated, no one should be able to purchase a gun, especially with the mental health. constraints that it's in right now with adults, kids, and adults. Just doesn't, it's baffling.
Okay.
Very
And the Kansas legislation has been talking about permitting shooting classes in schools. How do you feel about that?
I don't agree with that as well, unless it were a sport, like a target class where your target range and it's a sport, like an extracurricular activity with a coach with defined parameters and expectations. But other than that, no.
Okay. That's all my questions.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye.